Okay, my colleague just let me know that chat is disabled, which is fine. Thank you for letting me know, Violet. Just go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A. Or if you have any comments or anything like that, just put it in the Q&A. From Egypt. It's midday now. That's okay. I'm glad the time zone isn't too crazy. I always worry that it's going to be either too early or too late for you guys, so I'm very happy to hear that. We do have a few students from Egypt. I recently met a student from Egypt who works in our office, actually. She works in the front desk. And I know there's not a lot of students from Egypt, but we have a few that I know. So we're very excited to have more students from Egypt. So welcome in. I'm gonna clear out my. Okay, we're live on YouTube, so I'm good to go. Yay. Nepal. Hi, Gaurav. Very nice to meet you. We're excited to welcome you. We have a very large Nepali community here, so you'll fit right in. It's amazing. I think Nepal is our second, third largest population on campus, so it's pretty cool. I we have a NESTCOM community, so it's the Nepal Student Association Committee, which I think would be very good for you to join because they do a lot of like Dasai, Tihar, they do all of that together. So I think you'll have a lot of fun with that. With that, I'm gonna finally share my screen. Thank you very much for your patience, everyone, as I figure out technology today. I think I would much rather do this from the office next time. Okay, cool. We're talking about tuition and fees and how all of that works because I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions about that. So let's talk about it. At any point you're like, PJ, I don't understand what you're talking about and you want me to slow down, that's totally fine. Just let me know, okay? I will look at the Q&As as they come in. We have someone from Bangladesh and Anikon from Nigeria. Amazing. Really nice to meet you guys. Thank you for answering and participating. I really appreciate that. Welcome in, welcome in. Okay, very important topic of the day. We are going to be covering planning your budget, how to make payments, how to understand tuition and fees, more importantly, what the health insurance looks like, how much health insurance costs, scholarships and assistantships, working on campus and employment. So as you can see, we're covering a lot of information in a little less than an hour. So if you feel like I'm going too fast at certain points, just let me know, okay? All right. How to plan your budget. For a lot of you guys watching this right now, this is going to be most likely a pretty new concept. It was a very new concept for me when I was planning to go to college because, I had my parents take care of like paying for stuff. I didn't really have to worry about the financial aspect of a lot of things. But as you're preparing to come to the US, this is a big part of what you're going to have to learn to understand and be responsible for. So as you can see, I have two little sections on here. The estimated cost of attendance is going to be all of your costs associated with you coming to the United States and attending university, so attending our university, Minnesota State Mankato. So this includes your tuition and fees, which we will talk about, your living expenses and how you want to budget for that, how much your health insurance costs, books and supplies, we give you an estimated cost for that. And then personal expenses, again, that's going to be a very personal expense, but we try to give you an estimate so you kind of have an understanding of how much finance or how much money you need to have at least allocated before you come to the US. Some of the things that we do not include in this budget right now as we're talking about it is your SEVIS I-901 fee. For those that weren't there for our first webinar this time around, the SEVIS I-901 fee is essentially a fee, that's the $350 fee that you're paying the US government. And what it does is essentially tracks you as a student here and it says, okay, this student, whoever plans to attend Minnesota State Mankato, and then that helps us keep your SEVIS active, which means you're an active student in the US. The other things that are not included in the budget are your visa fees. So More likely than not, a lot of you guys here have already received your I-20, which means you're preparing for your visa interview or you're looking to prepare for your visa interview. There is a $185 visa fee that you have to pay for each interview you go to. Hopefully, more likely than not, you do not have to, or you will not have to go to a second visa interview, and all of you guys will get your visa the first time, knock on wood. Um, but that is going to be another additional cost that you need to think about. Travel expenses like airfare, shuttle, hotels, any other expenses along the way, food, those are also not included in this budget. So as you can see, this is already we're ranging pretty high. So make sure you're communicating with your guardian, your parent, your sponsor about these fees as well. The estimated cost of attendance on the left off your screen, those are all included in your I-20. So it helps you kind of visualize how much the money is. So what it's going to look like, this is on our website right now. And this is an estimated 2025, 2026 cost, tuition and cost. So if you look at your screen right now, you'll see a first semester and second semester breakdown with two separate tabs for with the International Maverick Scholarship and without the International Maverick Scholarship. As you guys may already know, as first year international undergraduate students, you are automatically given the International Maverick Scholarship. So your tuition is going down from $9,406 to $5,766. You can continue to have the scholarship until you graduate as long as you maintain minimum GPA requirements and you maintain your F1 status. So it's a very simple process to maintaining your Maverick scholarship. So just make sure you're keeping that in mind and you're going to your classes and focusing on your academics, which is what you're going to be here for. Room and board is an estimated cost that we've provided for you for on-campus housing. First-year international students are not required to live on campus their first semester or their first year even. A lot of students do choose to live on campus because it's easier, you're on campus, you're closer to people, you're closer to your classrooms. However, if you decide that you want to live off campus, again, that's totally your decision. And again, very much dependent on your budgets. We've provided a 11,260 on the average estimated cost, but this also includes room, board, and meal plans. So that's why that amount is on there. Under miscellaneous expenses, again, we have books and supplies, international student orientation fee, which is going to be $200. The student health insurance amount that you see, the 2,640, is a required expense. So you would have to pay that during your orientation week. So this is something I need to I need you guys to remember is when you're here for during orientation week in August, that week you will have to pay the student health insurance amount, which is 2,640 for the entire year before you're able to register for classes. If you do not pay this insurance amount, you will not be able to register for your classes on time. So just make sure you have those funds with you when you come in. Personal expenses, we put down 2,114. But again, that's going to be very dependent on how much you want to go outside, what hobbies you have, how much you're ordering DoorDash or Uber Eats. So that is what we have here. So the total estimated expense for 9 months of academic school year comes down to 29,146. If you have any questions, leave it in the tab so I can get to them. I'm gonna delete. Okay. There was a weird question there. Okay. I'm gonna stop my screen for a bit and I have to quickly look at our attendance because I feel like I might have to. I know this is awkward because I'm not speaking, so just like ignore me for a second. I just gotta look at our attendees list because I feel like there might be a spam account in here and I don't want that in here. Okay, I'll deal with that. You guys have a lot of great questions, I can see. So we can absolutely, I will get to them at the end of the session, actually. That's what I was going to say. I can't find that anonymous account, so I guess if they say something else, I'll have to like kick them out. All right. Do I have any graduate students in here? If I do, please let me know and I can go over your fee as well. All right. How to make payments and how does billing work? Students are billed every semester. So when you're here in August, you will be billed from August until December. And then you'll see your bill towards the end of the semester for the next semester. You're not going to pay for the whole year all at once. You're paying each semester. So just to clarify, you must make health insurance payment before you're allowed to register for classes. And again, this happens during orientation week. If you want to pay for it even before you get to the US, that's totally fine. You have to go into your e-services and make that payment. Otherwise, you can wait until you're here during orientation week to pay that. You can use your Apple Card, debit card, credit cards, or even cash. So you have those options, but just know that you have to have that amount with you, which is an estimated cost. Orientation fee is $200, which will be put onto your account the week after orientation. So you don't have to pay for this the week of orientation. And your tuition will be billed after you register for your classes, which is what you do during orientation week. Orientation week is going to be about 5 days long. There's a lot of information that you get during that week. If you need to take any placement testing, you take your placement testing that week, you register for your classes, you check in, we make sure we, put you guys in as you're attending our university. You are able to meet a lot of your other peers. Orientation week is pretty hectic. You get to make a lot of friends. We will be hosting a lot of social events for you as well, so you are able to interact with people from other countries, other cultures. And so hopefully you guys don't come here too late so you're not too jet lagged for that. I know I was very jet lagged, so again, how do you make the payments? Like I mentioned before, this is more for your tuition. So if you have any questions about that, these are the options that you have available. You can pay your tuition online with your credit card, in person with cash, credit card, debit card, Apple Pay, like I mentioned before. If you are going to have your sponsor send you that money or wire you that money, Flywire is a tool that we recommend students to utilize. It's a direct bank transfer, and they also provide the best exchange rates. And no matter how much money they send, if it's like $2,000 or $10,000, there's only a $25 flat standard transfer fee, which is really good considering I know some places charge you more depending on if they're sending you more money. So Flywire is definitely highly recommended in terms of if they're directly transferring money to your bank account. The last option that you see on the screen is the automatic monthly payment plan. We do get questions from students about um, if they're not able to pay for everything all at once, if there's a way for them to pay in like so every month. This is an option available for you. We call it the Nelnet payment plan. However, in order to be considered for this payment plan, you have to enroll earlier. So you have to go onto our website. I can put the link in the chat, of course, for you guys, but you have to go for enroll for it. There is a $34 enrollment fee per semester, and then you have to make the payment on the 5th day of each month. Depending on how early you sign up for it, you can spread out your payments much further. However, if there is a deadline for this, so if you enroll a little too late, you will have to make the payments in two batches, or you will not be able to enroll at all. So just be mindful of that as well. All right, so we do have a graduate student. I will go back into the little tab and show you. Talha, like you said, can we pay our fees every month on a monthly basis? Yes. So hopefully this answers your question. You do have to enroll in the payment plan like I just showed you, in order to be able to do that. Jihad, I know you asked, what is a Maverick Scholarship? So, a Maverick Scholarship or an International Maverick Scholarship is a scholarship that is automatically applied or given to all of our new undergraduate students. If you are a graduate student, unfortunately, this scholarship does not apply to you. But if you are an undergrad student, this is automatically something that you get as a first year student. However, if you are a graduate student, which it seems like you are, unfortunately, you do not qualify. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Scholarships. Again, like as I was literally saying, so new student scholarship. So this is the International Maverick Scholarship, which is valued at 7,280. The only requirement that we have for this scholarship is that you maintain your F1 status and you maintain a minimum term GPA of 2.5 or a 3.0 cumulative, which is absolutely doable because I know you guys are all very smart. As an enrolled student as well, however, you can continue to apply for scholarships on top of the International Maverick Scholarship. Every February of every year, we have what's called the Scholarship Month. So for the entire month, a lot of scholarships open up that you can apply for. And these can range from leadership-based, volunteer-based, employment-based, your department-based. So it's a lot of scholarships that open up. So if you're coming here in August, next year, during January, you'll hear a lot of people start talking about it. We also post a lot of this information on our social media, which is our Instagram, KICMNSU, where you will be able to find more info. Again, this is on our website as well. So if you're curious, you guys can absolutely go here. So the Internationals, Masters, and Doctoral student cost of attendance. As you can see, for the fall semester and the second semester, we're looking at 7,609 per semester, which is for up to 9 credits. For total, that comes down to 15,218. Any of the other costs are exactly the same as the previous one that I showed you for undergrad. So food and housing, if you choose to live on campus, your books and supplies. The international orientation fee is still going to be $200 for you, which is going to be applied to your tuition after orientation. Health insurance is another payment that you have to make during orientation week before you register for your classes. Personal expenses, again, it's going to vary depending on how much you choose to spend. Um, so this is what it's going to look like. I can put this link in the chat for you, Jihad, because I know that you are um, a graduate student, so you can take a look at it, and if you have any questions, you can always let us know. Okay. We're going to move into housing now. And so let's talk about that. How do we pay on-campus housing fees? Can you add it to the Nelnet monthly payment plan with our tuition? Um, you can, so you would pay for the on-campus housing on e-services with your tuition. I don't know if you can include that with your Nelnet payment plan. I cannot give you a firm answer on that, but I can double check with somebody and let you know. That's a really good question. All right, housing options. I know that this is something that a lot of students have a lot of questions about. So I've put together a quick little graph for you for what on-campus housing versus on off-campus housing. So the average cost monthly cost of living on campus comes out to 1,300 for 12 months. That includes your room and meal plans. If you're living off campus, it can be about 1,100 for 12 months. However, remember that this cost fluctuates depending on if you are living by yourself or if you're living with roommates. Some students choose to live by themselves, which is going to cost a lot more because you're in a one-bedroom apartment. Some students choose to live with two, three, four roommates, and that will bring down your cost quite considerably. When you're living on campus, it's a 1 to 2 semester contract and a $250 deposit is required. Off-campus housing is usually a 12-month lease with a security deposit. I will talk about these terminologies as we get to the next slide because I know for some of you this might be very new and not and something you're not familiar with. So I will break down these terms so it's a lot easier for you to understand and compare. On-campus housing, also you can either choose to live by yourself, which is going to be in one of our suites, um, or you can choose to live with another roommate. So most of our dorms are two people dorm rooms, so that's something that definitely you need to think about and consider as well. Off-campus housing, you can either live alone or with roommates. On-campus housing, if you choose to live on campus, you do have to pay for a meal plan. There's 4 options to choose from, ranging from how often you think you're going to eat on campus and stuff like that. So you do have an option that you can go through and pick the one that fits you best. Off-campus students, if you're someone that doesn't like to cook, you can absolutely still get a meal plan. Um, and that's not something you're restricted to. So if you're someone that's living off campus and you hate cooking, you can still go ahead and get a meal plan for yourself, and you can choose from any of the 4 that's mentioned on here. The biggest, I suppose, advantage of living on campus is you're on campus. You're very close to your classes, you're very close to events that you want to go to, and it's just easier to access locations because you're right here. If you're off campus and you're worried about that, though, that, hey, I'm living off campus, it's going to be such a hassle getting to campus and all of that, we do have a free bus service. It's like a big purple bus that you'll see. There's multiple, there's not just one bus, of course, but there's a big purple bus that you'll see around Mankato. That is a bus service that you can utilize for free with your MAV card, which is your student ID card. So when you're here during orientation, one of the first things that we do for you is go and help you get your student ID card. And that is the student ID card you'll use to get on the bus. You do not have to pay, you just have to show them your ID and it'll take you. So the bus goes to our grocery store, so which is Walmart. It goes to the mall and it goes to a lot of off-campus locations, housing locations. So it's easy to access and you can get to campus fairly soon. We also have a bus tracker service, which you can either view on your phone or on a laptop, but you're able to literally track where the bus is on its route, so you know when you need to get out of the house and get on the bus at the bus stop. We do also have apartments that are very close to campus as well. They're not affiliated with the university, but they are very like walking distance to campus. You just want to make sure that you're looking for housing before you get to the US so that A, you get the apartment that you want, and also B, you have a place to stay at when you get here. On-campus housing, everything is included in one bill paid on e-services. I think this answers your question earlier, Talha, about the Nelnet payment. In off-campus housing, you are responsible for paying rent separately and utilities monthly on time. These are not going to be put onto your e-services account. These are stuff that you have to be responsible for and you have to remember when the due dates are, because otherwise you will get a late fee or they might even cut off your service if you're not paying utilities. Okay, renting terms. I gave you guys a bunch of terms where I must have confused some of you, which is totally fine. It was very confusing for me too. And it was just having been here for a while that I've gotten used to these. But what is a lease? Like I mentioned in the previous slide, I said, oh, off-campus housing requires a 12-month lease, blah, blah, blah. A lease is a contract where one person, so the landlord, allows you, the renter, to use their property for a specific period of time in exchange for a payment. Leases are generally 12 months long. We do have leases that are 6 months, but very, very typically, we always see a 12-month long lease. Leases do not always include utilities. So now what are utilities? Utilities are basic services such as water, sewer, electricity, gas, trash, recycling. So when you read your lease, when they send you a lease to sign, which is this contract, it will tell you in the lease, like, hey, water, trash, and sewer is included, but you have to pay for electric and gas separately. So it's very important that when you're looking at a lease, you make sure you know what utilities you're responsible for. You must sign up for these utilities separately, and you will be billed separately as well. Most apartments will not include all utilities. Personally, for my unit, I pay for gas, electricity, and Wi-Fi separately on top of my rent. So that's how I kind of go understand. Water and trash and recycling is included with my lease, so I don't have to worry about it. It's just included in the monthly payment that I make. But separately, I have to pay for gas, electricity, and Wi-Fi. So when you're looking for apartments and when you're signing a lease, you have to be very careful in trying to understand what you have to pay for, separate from that monthly payment. Very important thing to know. A lease is a legally binding contract, and you cannot just leave the apartment midway through the lease. Let's say you get a unit for 12 months and 6 months down, you're like, oh, I hate it here, and you just leave. You cannot do that. It's a legally binding contract. So if you can leave, but you'll still be responsible for paying that monthly payment until your lease is up. So when you get your lease, read the lease very carefully and completely before signing. The lease will also include other relevant information such as owning pets, noise violations, um, when the trash like person comes to pick up the trash and things like that. It's a very it's a pretty long contract that you have to go through and read. You could also be asked to get renter's insurance. Read your lease. If you have to get your renter's insurance, that's going to be an additional payment that you have to make. Once a lease is signed, you cannot back out. So if you know you're going to stay at a specific place, you have to be 1,000% sure they're going to be at that place. You can't just sign it and then tell them, oh, actually, sorry, I changed my mind. I'm going to go somewhere else. Don't do that. You cannot do that. So just be careful. Just be mindful about that. I'm going to quickly go through the questions and see if there's any related to housing that I see. Talha said, aren't the Stadium Heights apartment included in on-campus housing? Yes, you are absolutely right. You're doing your research. I like that. Good for you. Um, so when we talked about housing earlier, as we were talking right here, um, on-campus housing, I had mentioned like, oh, it's in the dorms, like it's on campus. However, we also have a unit called the Stadium Heights apartment, which is affiliated with the university, but they're off campus. So yes, Talha, that is considered on-campus apartment, but again, they're not on campus, they're a little further away, so you would have to take the bus to campus. Very good question. Okay. Somebody asked, may I know about the MAV card fee? The MAV card is free. When you come here on campus, after you've checked in, we'll take you down to the MAV card office and they'll take your photo and then they'll give you your MAV card. I don't have mine here, otherwise I show you what it looked like. But yeah, there is no fee. If you lose it and then you have to get a new one, I think there's a fee associated with it, but the first one is completely free. Will the on-campus housing be available right from the orientation week? So you are able to move into the dorms August 18th. If you want to move in a little bit earlier, you have to fill out an early check-in form and they have to approve it before you're able to move in any earlier than that. And I believe there's a $21 per day charge for that for early move-in. Reina, Ali from Pakistan. I've gotten my visa and really excited to join you in August. Really looking forward to it. Congratulations, Reina. I'm so excited to hear that. We are very excited to welcome you on campus. We have so many fun things planned for orientation week. And also, we'll have a lot of like social events for you. And also, you'll find me and all of our other colleagues during check-in. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And please come and say hi if you see me. I will be checking you guys in during orientation. So please come and say hi. I always love when you guys come and tell me that you were in my webinar. So please come and say hi. Okay. I'm just making sure. During holidays, can we stay on campus apartments? Really good question. So during holidays, you do have to move out. So during winters, you have to move out. And during the summer as well, there's a little time window where you have to move out of the dorms. Evan says, so my deficit is 29K. That is what we ask that you show as well for your sponsor letter. Um, and that is an estimated cost that we have. So except the tuition, everything else is an estimated cost. Jihad asked, sorry, what do you mean by meal plan? So that is a really good question. Um, we have a lot of great questions today. I love that you guys have so many good questions. What was the last question I just talked about? The meal plan. When you're living on campus, you don't have easy access to a kitchen. All of the dorms, although as I say that, I do have to let you guys know. So the dorms, each floor, there is a mini kitchen, like a kitchen little space that you can use, but that's for the whole floor to use. So and obviously we don't want you to starve. So when you're living on campus, you do have to get a meal plan, which means you will have access to the university dining center. Yes. And then there is like different meal plans that you can get. So you can get one, which is the meal. I'll show you guys actually at the end of this session. If you want to stick around, Jihad, I can show you what the meal plans look like. And it's a lot easier when you see it visually versus me trying to stumble and like not even answer properly. So if you want to wait until the end, I will show you exactly what that looks like. Okay. Let I am going to move on for now, and then I will get to your questions, other questions towards the end of the session. Student health insurance. As I've been mentioning this entire webinar, you are required to purchase a student health insurance in the US for when you're studying at our university. So F1 and J1 international students, if I know a lot of you guys are just F1 or J1, you have to purchase your student health insurance during orientation week before you register for classes. United Healthcare is the Minnesota state insurance provider, and the estimated cost of insurance for 12 months is $2,640. And please remember, you have to pay this annually. So when you're here in August, you'll pay for it, and then the following July, you'll pay for the following year, and so on and so forth. Health insurance must be paid before class registration. So when you're here during orientation, please have those funds in hand. Graduate students. Okay, Jihad, I know you're our only graduate student here, I believe, watching right now. Employment for graduate students. As a graduate student, if you're just applying for a job, let's start here and then go there. On-campus employment, I know some of you guys have a lot of questions. This is one of our questions that we get a lot as well is, hey, will I get a job on campus? Or how many hours can I work? If you are an undergraduate student and you get a job on campus, you can work up to 20 hours per week during the semester. So during fall and spring, you can work up to 20 hours. During summer and winter breaks, you can work up to 40 hours per week. So you can basically work full time during summer break and winter break. Graduate students, if you get an employment on campus, you can work up to 14 hours per week year-round, unless you're working as a graduate assistant or a teaching assistant. Um, if you're looking to apply for graduate assistantships, you can only apply for them after you are admitted into the university. If you type in MNSU graduate assistantships, you will find a list of all the vacancies that are available at the moment that you can apply for. But again, like I said, you have to be admitted to the university before you're able to do that. So what does the graduate teaching assistantship look like? Or what benefits do you get from it? When you get a graduate full-time graduate assistantships offer, it is essentially You get up to 9 credits of tuition waiver per semester. You get up to $10,000 stipend per academic year, so that's 5,000 per semester, not per year. 10 to 20 hours per week of work commitment, depending on whether you have a part-time or a full-time assistantship. You can only apply for assistantships after admissions, and students with a GA still need to show funding. Someone raised their hand. I could see that, but if you want to leave the question in the chat for me, it's a lot easier. Jihad, if you have a TA, you already have employment. Um, if that helps answer your question. So you will be doing what I have on the screen right now is you'll have up to 9 credits of tuition waiver per semester, and you'll also get a stipend because you will still be working 10 to 20 hours per week, depending on where you're going to be a TA and what your TA assistantship looks like. So just make sure you read the terms and conditions of your offer properly. All right, moving on. This is another little final tidbit I want to mention because a lot of students have mentioned that, oh, well, I don't know what immunizations I need to bring. If you have received your Tdap or your tetanus diphtheria vaccination and your MMR vaccination, please bring records of it with you. Otherwise, you can always email those records to healthservices@mnsu.edu, as you can see on the screen. If you do not have any immunization records to bring, that's completely fine. You will be asked to take these vaccinations after orientation week. So if you don't have these records, you're totally okay. Don't worry about it. But if you have taken these vaccinations in the past, just bring a record of it with you or a copy of it with you. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I am going to, before I move on to anything else and talking about Fall 2025 orientation, like I haven't already been for the past 41 minutes, I am going to quickly go over the questions and I think I'm going to show you guys what the meal plans look like. We're going to go from there. Okay, interview questions. I have an interview in July, but I was previously denied. Do you have any advice before I go for my second interview? That is a great question. We do host visa prep sessions. So I believe our next session, yep, so May 20th, requesting I-20 and visa prep. If you want to sign up for that, we usually go over a lot of important questions that they might ask during orientation. So, not orientation, during your visa interview. And we have a general discussion on what kind of answers would be best. We also do have a service of current students that provide visa prep sessions for you if you're interested. It is not open at the moment, but it should be open fairly in the next couple weeks. So if you want to keep monitoring the KIC portal for it, I think that would be very helpful because we will post an update on there. Okay. Where can we stay when we move out? I believe this is in response to my question about students moving out that live on campus having to move out during the summer and winter break. A lot of students sublease an apartment or live with their friends during the summer, or a lot of students, again, like I said, sublease an apartment for like 6 months or the duration of that break. For the monthly rent for the on-campus apartments, is it fixed no matter how many other roommates might be there or change? That is a great question, Jihad. Again, the on-campus tuition is going to change and fluctuate depending on which one you're choosing to live at and how many roommates you're going to have. It's going to look a little bit different. If you're living in one of our Julia Sears suites, it's going to cost a little bit more compared to our renovated or our basic rooms. Chiranjeevi, when do we have to pay for tuition after reaching to university or from our home country? So Chiranjeevi, you do not have to pay for your tuition before you come here. The only thing you have to pay when you're here the first week of orientation is your student health insurance, and the following week after is when your tuition is going to be displayed on our e-services that you can pay for here. Does a GA, Anikan said, does a GA position offer accommodation? Generally, no. Um, I want to say actually no in most cases, unless you're a GA for the dorms in some capacity, which I don't know if they do have graduate assistantships for the dorms. If they do, then they might, but usually it does not come with an accommodation offer. Talha said, so will the Stadium Heights apartment payment be included in one bill on e-services? I believe so. I believe that's how it's going to work. Rana Ali, does the health insurance cover all medical related issues, including medicines, and God forbid, any emergency room visits or surgeries? This is such a great question, but I don't think we have enough time for me to really go over how health insurance works in the US. It's it's going to be a long answer. How it works is when you have the student health insurance, it covers part and majority of most health related like expenses. The health insurance, so we have a student health services clinic on campus that students can go to whenever they're not feeling well, whenever they need vaccinations. They do blood work and things like that on campus. I never paid for it when I went there. If you're going off campus, that would be considered like out of network. In that situation, you would have to pay at least part of some of the payment that you owe to that hospital. But again, this is why we emphasize and put so much importance on getting student health insurance is because of these issues is if God forbid something happens and you have to go to the emergency room and you don't have insurance, you're going to be like responsible for a lot of money versus when you have the student health insurance, that's going to help really, really cover a lot of those charges for you. So I hope that answers your question. Student health insurance is a topic that I could talk about for hours because it's just so nuanced and there's so many layers to it. But hopefully this answers your question. Basically, what I'm trying to say is having student health insurance is for your benefit. You guys might look at that price tag like 2,640 and be like, "Oh my God, that's so expensive." But trust me, it is worth paying than God forbid something happening and then you have to pay for something out of pocket and you don't have insurance. I utilize the student health services a lot and I'm very thankful for the insurance I had because I had a lot of health concerns during my undergraduate and graduate years, so I had to go to the hospital a lot. And so having that insurance really helped to bring my costs down a lot. Talha, just to be clear, how do we register for classes? You will register for classes during orientation week. We will take you to where you need to go to register for your classes, and you will do it with an academic advisor. So if you want to register for classes now, you will not be able to because there's going to be a hold on your account. And even if you are, I highly encourage not doing that and waiting to meet with an academic advisor during orientation week to do so. Jihad, can I apply for further job as a TA either on or off campus? No. If you're going to be a TA, that's going to be your main responsibility. You will not be able to work off campus unless it's an internship that you have that you're doing over the summer break or something like that. Talha said, as an undergraduate student, how do we apply for on-campus jobs? That is a great question. When you're here during orientation week, we will tell you exactly what tools to utilize to apply for jobs on campus. One of those tools is called Handshake, so literally Handshake. So if you go on Google and search MNSU Handshake, you will see the website and how it looks. You will likely not be able to sign in yet to apply for jobs, so I encourage waiting until you're here during orientation. But once you're here, after you've like checked in and everything, you should be able to access the website and log in with your credentials and apply for jobs on campus. Jihad asked, where can I find more information about on-campus housing? Is there a website? Yes. Let me put that in the chat really quickly. While you guys are here, I'm just going to quit sharing so that I can go look for it. You guys have a lot of questions. And again, if you didn't know, we will be doing a housing webinar in I forget what day it is, but I'll show you guys here in just a second. I'm just gonna put this in the chat first. All right, so this is the link to the housing page. If you also look up MNSU International Students, you will see a website or a web page of international students that do live on campus and some interviews that the residential housing did with the students. I think that's very helpful in understanding how international students feel living on campus. Okay, Fozel, I hope I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, please forgive me. Fozel said, what's the weather like during the first months? Since you're going to be here in August, it's going to be lovely. I don't know what time you joined, but I was telling everyone during the beginning of the session that the weather is really clearing up and it's so nice out. It's sunny. I'm sweating. It's lovely. So it's perfect for hikes. Mankato in general, there's so many trails and hikes around that you can go to. Um, so when you're here in August, it's going to be pretty nice. It might actually be kind of like the leaves are starting to change color, but it's not that cold. I always recommend students to bring in like a jacket and things like that because winters, I'm sure you've heard, winters can be harsh here. So if you're able to get like a good winter coat, good winter boots in your home country for cheap, you can bring it with you. But fall in general, the weather should be pretty decent to where, we can actually be outside and enjoy it. June 4th. Yes, thank you, Jihad. Yes, the housing webinar is going to be June 4th, so please register for it. Go to your KIC portal and sign up for it. And then me and my colleagues will be here during that day and we'll talk about what it's like. Rana, so Rana asks, do we get parking space if you choose to live on campus? And is there a fee for that? I need to confirm this. I believe so, but I also don't want to give you like wrong information. So let me just check. Fozel and Talha, I feel like you guys have a very similar question to where Fozel asked, are there any mentors or advisors for international students? Talha asked, how does the MNSU community help international students feel welcomed and supported when they first arrive on campus? These are both very similar questions, and I'm going to answer it from the perspective of an ex-international student. So I was an international student myself. I am from Nepal. I don't think my last name shows up on yeah, it doesn't. So my last name is PJ Gurung. I'm from Nepal and I've been in the US for about 8 years now, 9 years now. So I came here as an undergraduate student. I completed my I can't talk. I completed my bachelor's at Minnesota State Mankato, and then I went on to do my master's at Minnesota State Mankato, and I'm now working full time as I'm a full-time staff for the International Center. So I've been here for a while. I've been in Mankato for a while, and I've been in your shoes. I know how daunting it is to be like, hey, I'm leaving my family, I'm leaving my entire life behind, probably getting on a plane for the first time. My first time traveling, it was my first time on a plane. I was very scared because I'd never been on a plane before. Um, and so it was a very scary experience, but being in Mankato, like Minnesota State Mankato, is a very, very, very welcoming community. Mankato is a smaller town, which I know some students I know some people complain about because it's not like a bigger city or whatever. But Mankato being a smaller town is what makes it Mankato. People are welcoming. There's this thing about, I don't know if you guys have heard it, but it's called a Minnesota nice stereotype. It is so true. Minnesota people are so nice. The community is very welcome. When we're talking, oh, Fozil, you're also from Nepal. Amazing. Hello. Um, I had another Nepali student in here earlier. What was his name? Gaurav. Yeah, so I have two Nepali students in here. That's awesome. Um, but as I was saying, Mankato, like when I'm talking about Mankato community, right, I'm gonna move more into what it's like on campus. On campus is an even more wonderful, welcoming community that you could think about. We have signature nights every semester. We have international festival every year, which is awesome because all of us, like all international students, are able to showcase. You can wear your traditional clothes. Oh, that's one thing you should definitely pack. Pack your traditional outfits if it's not too heavy. Bring at least a pair with you, at least an outfit or two with you because you can wear it during international festival. Because during an international festival, almost all of our international students wear the traditional outfits. We have food. We have cultural nights. We have signature nights. I know recently, just recently, we had African Student Night. And then we also have student organizations. So Nepali students have NESTCOM. We have Student Association of India. We have Ivory Coast Association. So we have a lot of student associations that you can be a part of to where you feel you're able to speak with people who speak the same language as you do. Um, we always try at the KIC to, make sure that you guys are feeling heard and we're advocating for you guys. So from my personal experience, it's been a wonderful experience being a student, like a student in the past at Minnesota State Mankato. I loved it here so much that I'm still here, so that should tell you something. Um, so I highly encourage you guys to come here. The biggest thing I tell everyone is come here with an open mind. Don't come here with an open mind and come here to make friends. During orientation week, it's going to be very overwhelming, but it's also a great time for you to make friends. So very excited for orientation week for you guys. Rana Ali said, do you happen to know if there are any other Pakistani students at the university? Yes, we do have other Pakistani students. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but we do have a lot of students from Pakistan as well. Okay, I'm not done sharing my screen yet, so I'm gonna go back. I got excited talking about MSU and okay. A few things to remember. Da -da. All right. Fall orientation. Attendance is mandatory. You can't just not show up. You have to check in. Orientation dates are Monday, August 18th through Friday, August 22nd. You must arrive in Mankato on or before August 17th so you can check in for orientation on August 18th. The first day for you to be able to enter the US is July 19th, 2025. If you're trying to enter the US on July 18th, you cannot do that. You have to enter the US only 30 days before your program start date. So when you're looking at flight tickets, just go ahead and do that. Fozel says, how can I connect with academic advisors or professors? Usually you would have to go to our website and look up what what your major is, and then go to your department and you should have a little tab on there that has staff on there, so faculty names. You can see a faculty if you're interested in connecting with them. You can send them an email. However, remember that it is summertime, so a lot of times during summertime, faculty members are usually not on campus. Orientation starts at what time? Um, go onto the KIC portal. Once the orientation schedule is completely done, the schedule will be posted on the KIC portal right away. All right. And if you want to stay more connected with us and our students on campus, follow us on social media. We post a lot of content on our Instagram, specifically on our Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. TikTok, we're not as active on, but Instagram and YouTube, we are fairly active on. We post a lot of our current students, what they're up to, involvements, fun videos behind the scenes, weekly events, and updates. We basically post everything on our Instagram. So please follow us on Instagram and you might even be able to see other students from your home country and then you'll be able to see what they're up to. We've posted a lot of Internationals Engaged is what one of our main video content is, and in that series we follow international students that are very involved on campus from different countries and we do a fun little interview with them. Our recent one was with Isabel, who works in our office at the KIC, in our front desk. And she's from Burundi, so we were able to do a quick little video with her. So follow us on Instagram. We're almost at 3,000 followers, so I'm trying to get up to 3,000. All right. Upcoming webinars. May 20th, 9 a.m., requesting I-20 and visa prep, and all of these other, there's more webinars that's going to be happening until before orientation in August, but you have to go onto our KIC portal. Don't forget to register. You guys already registered for this one, so you know how to do it. We will also be hosting Instagram lives on our KIC, so follow us and we'll be able to have more engaging conversations where it's not just me talking. You guys can, join. And then I will have my colleague with me, Violet. She's joining as an attendee right now, so otherwise I would have asked her to say hi, but we will have someone else besides me present, so it's more fun. Okay. You were sent an email with the pre-arrival calendar a couple months ago, at least a month ago, I want to say, with a calendar that looks very similar like this. You can also find this on the KIC portal. But you can download it, and the entire schedule for our pre-arrival stuff is going to be on here. You can download it and everything is hyperlinked. So anytime you want to get to, if you want to get to understanding tuition and fees, you just got to double click it and it'll send you to the registration link. That is about all I have today. I know I said we would go over meal plans, so I'm going to take another couple minutes to show you guys that website, and then we'll have to stop for the day, even though you guys have a lot of questions. I might stay and answer all of your questions, and then I will end the live, or the webinar, sorry, this is not a live. Okay, meal plans. All right. All right, this is what I wanted to show you guys. I'm gonna share my screen. All right, so this is what meal plans, these are the options for meal plans is what I meant to say. Depending on, as you can see, there's 4 different kind of meal plans on the screen. There's one that's 3,765, 3,670, 3,415, and then one that's just $500. Now, how this works is, as a student, even if you're living on campus or off campus, you have an option to pick any of these meal plans. If you're on campus, you have to pick one. But if you pick the first one, so 14 meals per week, which basically means if you pick this one, you'll get 14 meals per week in the dining center. So you can go into the dining center because the dining center is different. It's just a big, big residential dining center. I can't talk this morning. I'm going to see if I can show you guys a quick little video because you guys are here and you guys have a lot of questions. I want to make sure I'm answering all of them. All right, so this is what the dining center looks like. It's a very big building, actually. This is showing just a little glimpse of the inside, but it's a very big dining center and they offer breakfast, lunch, dinner, all of that all day long. So if you pick a 14 meal per week, you'll be able to go into the dining center 14 times a week. You'll also get $200 of dining dollars that you can use at anywhere else on campus. So that's not the only dining option you have. We have other locations on campus like Taco Bell, Garbanzo, Chick-fil-A, all of these other locations that you can go to and you can use the $200 dining dollars for that. If you get the most popular, which is the anytime, you can go to the dining center as many times as you want during the day, during the week. It doesn't matter. There is no cap. It is also all you can eat. So it is like a buffet style. So when you go in and you swipe your card and you get in, you can eat from as many locations as you want. There is no cap, which is amazing, which is what I really love about the dining center is you can just go in at one time and you can try all of the options. And let me tell you, they have a lot of options. They have salads, burgers, pizzas. They have like more like specific region specific meals. It's amazing. And the menu also changes weekly, by the way, so you're not eating the same thing every day. So these are the options that you have for meal plans. I would definitely take your time kind of thinking about it and being like, hey, what would be best for you? Okay. I know you guys have some more questions. With us coming from different countries, is there any platform we can be connected as incoming students? So, that is a great question. You will all likely receive a link to a WhatsApp group at some point in the next couple weeks that you can join, and then it's going to be all for our fall incoming students. So just keep an eye out on your emails or the KIC portal. Talha, I'm from Bangladesh. I got my visa and I'm very excited to be there. Yay! I am so excited to hear that. Congratulations. You did amazing. We're very excited to welcome you. There's a lot of students here that have already gotten their visa, so that makes me very happy. If you have an upcoming visa, you got this. Good luck. Just be confident. You can attend our visa prep sessions as well. Fozell, what are the typical outcomes for international students after graduation? I will answer this question by saying this. When you're here as a student, as an F1 international student, F1 visa essentially means non-immigrant visa. So the ideal goal for you is to just come here, complete your degree, and return home. That is the meaning of having an F1 visa. Some students will utilize their OPT. Of course, that's totally fine. That's like something that, if you have a job offer, if you're planning to, definitely go ahead and use it. I have a lot of friends that did OPT. I have a lot of friends that returned home. And then I have some friends that are doing their PhD. So it really depends on you and your trajectory in life and where you'll end up. So it really depends on you. Alrighty, I think we're like over time, so I am going to end the session, but I'll see you in the next one. It was really lovely having you guys in here. Thank you for all of these great questions. Um, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And hopefully I'll have my colleagues in that one as well, so then you guys can meet more people in our office and get acclimated to what we look like. Two more questions? Thank you, Hala. Thank you, Jihad. I really appreciate that. You guys are so sweet. Have a great day and or have a great